Good afternoon and welcome to the Waste and Recycling Committee. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Note that both directors are here. Okay, are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Okay, I'll go. How does the motion look?
Motion to approve the agenda?
And I'll second that. No public, so.
I think we have a public. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Just
Oh, Peter, okay.
Peter.
Hi, Peter. You have any comments you'd like to say? We're at public comment period. Oh, maybe not.
And he's gone.
Okay.
Scared him.
Okay, I'll motion for approval of the minutes. They look good.
I will second it.
Okay, solid waste events.
So the only upcoming event we have is our tire day, which is this weekend at the CR in our yard from 8 a.m. to noon. You can bring up to 9 tires. They need to be off the rim, and that is free to district residents only. So if you happen to have any tires, go ahead and get rid of them. I think we covered it at the last meeting. We had the HHW collection event, and we had the stats in that packet. So I'm just gonna start working on scheduling everything for next year.
I see you have a flyer about the January 1st change. I'm happy to say the public is, when there's questions come up on social media, the actual public is addressing it with proper information. So the outreach is done really well.
I feel like we've papered everybody pretty good at this point. But
Have we
that's
got-
it for solid
Have we
waste
gotten the new
events.
trucks that do with the 2 bins in them?
The split bodies, they haven't arrived yet.
They haven't
Okay.
arrived yet.
More information about how dividing's going to happen.
Yeah, so I have a handout which is posted on the website. It just shows what went out to the bank customers. They get a monthly bill, and it shows how if you have a dumpster bin, you're getting the extra recycling and organics. And then what if you don't want the new carts? We explain why you have to have them. And of course, on the back of all of the flyers, we always put the what goes where information. And then in the barrel customer bills for the upcoming quarterly billing, they're going to receive the next flyer, which talks about the separate collection beginning January 1st. Also, why they have to have the carts. And then the very last page in the handout is this is going to be a postcard mailer to all district residents that haven't identified themselves as a CR&R customer or a self-hauler. We're going to mail this out. Just letting them know that separate collection is beginning January 1st. And then if they're a self-hauler, we're updating them that they can still self-haul using their dump card. There's no extra fee, and that they don't need to keep receipts because we are getting adequate reporting from the county now. So that's really great
awesome.
news. And then basically just indicating that the county operates the transfer station and that, they're going to have to abide by whatever's happening there. So, and we didn't feel like we needed to send this out to people who've identified themselves because we've already spoken with all of them.
Why add
Or
extra expense?
if they're a CRNR customer, they're going to be getting the flyer and the bill. So we're able to remove about 2,500 people from our mailing list, which will save us some money. So that'll be going out probably towards the end of this month. I'm just waiting on quotes.
Okay. Do you have any other questions on that topic? Okay. Uniform collection. The trucks, you said the split bodies have yet to come?
Yeah, they haven't come yet. We're still expecting them mid to end of this month. Once we have them, they're going to be operational ready, so they're just going to hit the road.
Looking forward to seeing them rolling down the road.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to be amazed when they see something different with the trucks.
Well, and we're going to make sure that we're informative about what those trucks are and that they're
Yes,
not
we talked
confused.
about, because we don't want people seeing, the trucks all look the same, right? You
Yes,
can't
they
tell what's in them. And so we've kind of come up with an idea that maybe we're gonna get some big magnets So when they're picking up trash, it says trash or recycling or organics. Because if they see the same truck going around, we don't want the perception that it's all going in the same truck, which it is right now because we're not disposing of it separately, but after January 1st, we will be.
Okay.
And you'll probably have seen around town, pretty much everybody is at the point where they have the 3-cart system.
So these split bodies look like a standard truck?
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
much?
they look like
okay.
we have 2 rear loaders right now. They're gonna look identical. You're not gonna be able to tell any difference outside. There's just a wall inside of the box of the truck that keeps material separated.
So
that
does it
that is
same
a good
lift
idea
arm
to identify.
for
It
it?
won't be a
Yes.
lift arm, it's a rear loaded.
Yeah, we want to
Yeah.
have a
Oh,
like a
so a worker
sticker.
gets out and dumps it in?
Yes.
Old
with the-
school style.
Yeah, what he does is he rolls it to a hydraulic arm
That dumps
that's
it.
lowered to the ground. That arm hooks onto the barrels and then dumps it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a worker outside that entire,
Yes.
then bungee cording it,
It's
It's
fine.
like- but to be one
That's why I
sec- it's
said
1 second
last
from there,
night
yeah.
at the town hall, I was trying to explain that's fine, and then that we're gonna work around that. There's no issues with that.
oh, and thank you for showing up last night. That was
You're
a
welcome.
lot of help.
Yeah, it turned out it was good. Yeah.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
The transfer station,
Yes.
are they starting to make the changes and preparing for?
So,
January 1.
Not much has changed since the last we talked about it. They're redoing their contract with Athens, so that Athens has to do what the county wants them to do. But they're also having to go through the permitting process with the state for that transfer station because it's not permitted to handle the 3 separate waste streams. So,
Well, the state's asking for that.
yeah, I know. The state also asked that there's more capacity for organics, recycling, and composting, but they're holding up permits all around the state for getting those facilities going. So, can only do what we can do. But I don't know what their time frame is. I think it's probably going to be in a first quarter next year, beginning of second quarter, that they start enforcing all of that there.
Okay.
But as far as we're concerned, I mean, we've done our due diligence, let people know that, hey, just be aware of what the county's gonna do, and I'm just very, very happy we don't need to have anybody keep receipts. That seemed to be like the biggest thing, you know.
Well,
the
it's all,
biggest
it's
deal
on
out there.
heat sensitive paper, that if they were to keep it in their glove compartment,
Oh, it disappears.
it'll just turn black.
Yeah, and I think I've heard like every excuse known to man about why people can't keep receipts or take a picture of them. So I'm very happy that I don't need to hear any more excuses about receipts, that I can just get the data that we need from the county. And I started including that on the my monthly report, which I did as a handout, also posted on the website. So in November, there were 1,591 self-hauls to the transfer station. Of those, 1,139 were unique, so some people go multiple times. And there were about 340 tons of solid waste disposed of at the transfer station. So, and I get all of this in a huge report that shows me, you know, how many times Director Hayes goes to the dump and how much he disposed of and when he went, all of that. So everything I need. I knew they could do it, so I'm happy that they did it. And then Brandon and I both went to I guess this was back on the other item. We did go to the Kiwanis meeting back in November. That was pretty well attended. I feel like most of the people there had been to one of our meetings before. I think Peter raised his hand.
Hi, Peter, what's up? Are you there, Peter?
I don't think he has a microphone.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't show that he's muted.
He's dropped his hand raised too.
Well, I lowered his hand.
Oh, your other hand, okay. Okay. What else with that? Again, the public is amazingly informed about it.
I feel like at this point they should be, because we've done a lot of outreach. We make sure it's in pretty much every monthly bill and the CR&R bills, and I know all the stuff that's getting dropped off with the barrels. And we'll do that one more direct mailer, and hopefully we're good. And then next year, Peter says, sorry, I don't know what's happening. I'll get on a mic. So we might have to come back to him. I want to do some creative videos of like how to use your barrels, like what not to do, kind of make them funny, and then do some more like interesting flyers to put in the bills.
That reminded me of something I talked to Brandon about, the spacing of the bin, of the carts between them for the trucks, and easier convenience. And maybe make a thing of showing how silly it is when they're right next to each other and how
Right.
chaotic it makes it.
Right, yeah, we want to do a bunch of informative videos, stuff
Yeah.
like that, post on the website and social media. You might have seen like Victorville starting to do them. Like they show a family putting their food in a bag and then all together taking out the trash and putting it in the bin. So
Not realistic.
I've
where
never
you're
done
yelling at
that
your
with
kid to do it.
anybody before,
Did you take
but
that out yet?
hey, maybe there's
Fifth time I
people
told you.
that make it a family bonding event.
Yeah.
So,
Always.
I like those videos. I think they're funny. So we'll see some of those. Just, again, we have a full calendar ahead of us for next year.
Okay, anything additional to add to the 1383? Because number 6 sort of blends into the other two already. All sort of blend together.
I'm hoping our compliance order is done by the end of first quarter next year.
Okay.
I think we'll have everything done. The main thing is separate collection, obviously, everybody with the containers, that's one. The labeling, which that'll be done. And then we're just working on the agreements between the district and the generator and the recovery organizations.
Okay.
So just kind of identifying all of them because we only know of 2, and then making sure we have all the agreements.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's out there. People are doing it. They've been doing it forever. It's just now the state wants data on it all.
They want the official information.
Yeah, not everybody is happy about, that because they don't want to be liable. They feel like if they fill out all of this and then if somebody were to get sick or whatever from whatever they drop off, like they don't want to be part of that. So,
A good chunk of the food banks, pantries, whatever label you want to put on them, that I've dealt with in the past, a lot of times they'll have a thing they sign as a waiver for, hey,
well,
this isn't premium, this isn't.
yeah, I mean, our office, so there's it's called Second Harvest. It's an organization where if there's like a truck accident and they happen to be carrying food, Second Harvest goes out and gets it as soon as they can, and then they give it out to all of the different organizations that they're affiliated with. And we're kind of their last stop on the way to the dump. So once everybody's at capacity, because you run out of space for storing some of the stuff.
Yes.
You can't take like a whole truckload of squash, right? So they'll stop at our office and we'll get it. And then whatever we can't take, they take to the dump.
Okay.
So, but like our staff knows, like this stuff literally fell off of a truck, legitimately. And, we'll end up with a ton of lettuce or squash or tomatoes. And we have a lot of staff that raises desert tortoises. They rescue them.
Oh, they'd love that.
And they love that stuff. They're hibernating right now, though, so we can't get rid of some of it.
Well, if people have goats and things like that, will take them. And
But
pigs.
see, that's the type of thing where, like, it's kind of burdensome to Second Harvest that they would have to be tracking, like, oh, I took, this
X
many
many pounds,
pounds
yeah.
of squash, to the CSD and this much to this and that. And it just kind of adds
An extra labor to
a
it.
lot more work.
Yeah. I know that we have Second Chance that's over in Hesperia that works with them. And the people posting about how thankful they are, and the outreach they do of support is pretty amazing. And seeing that they now have an extra additional input of additional stuff is really nice to see.
Yep.
I
So
was just gonna say, great job on completing all those items in the compliance order. I know that's a huge monumental task, and
so
thank
many.
you very much.
yeah. So once that's done, the compliance order will be over. I think they'll leave us alone for 5 years because they have to get to all the other agencies in the state. And, they haven't been that bad to work with because I think they understand, like, everybody's struggling with this. So, I'm very thankful that they've been willing to work with us, especially when our timeline changes.
We've had some shifting. I'm really thankful with the shifts of being able to continue the self-hauling,
Yes.
that people are able to continue their independence with that.
Mm-hmm.
That has been a major change in people's feeling on all this.
Yeah, and for now, it looks like Hesperia is getting to keep their single stream collection. Because that was like a big one everybody was watching. Like, what is the state going to do? Because it kind of doesn't flow with their model, where they want everybody to understand the color coding and to be able to go to any place in the state and know what to do with their trash. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they finally just saw the light with that and have allowed them to do it.
We'll see how it goes moving forward.
I
May
noticed,
change it at any moment. They could change their attitude about it.
yeah, they started advertising like, we don't have to do anything. You're good. I'm like, that would be really nice. But,
Any additional questions you have about any of this? Same here. I think we went over everything. Peter, are you able to?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yay! Yes, we can hear you. What's up?
Great. Actually, I had a question for Kim about the transfer station and the permitting. So I'm just kind of curious, is that basic idea that we just, they make us start source separating, but we can still take everything there until they get the permit, whatever happens?
yeah, I mean, they have some level of source separating there right now. Like, if you go, you'll see that
True,
they have
true,
like
yeah.
some mixed recycling and they have some green. It's just like, I am not an expert on the county's permit. I just know that in order to fully, realize SB 1383, that there was some permitting that they had to do with the state. So.
Yeah. I'm just worried about not wanting to drive my stuff elsewhere. That's my concern.
No, yeah, I think that because the county has constituents that aren't us. They have unincorporated households that still need somewhere to self-haul, and so they're gonna have to figure out how to do it for their constituents. So it'd be the same for ours.
Sure.
And they are collecting that dump card revenue.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter.
Which I think it's interesting because I wonder, because Wrightwood, they collect the dump card revenue and then they pay the county the disposal costs.
Oh, that reminds me. Somebody brought up the exemptions for elevation and population. If you can just go over a general idea
Yes.
of that, because they were mentioning, well, Wrightwood got this, and they seem to think that that you actually hadn't put in for any of those requests or looked at them or anything.
No,
like
I didn't put one in because it's very simple. We only have a very small portion of the district that meets the elevation requirement, and the elevation requirement is only food waste. So they would still have to have a green barrel to put in all the yard waste. They just don't have to put their bag of food in there. So it was a waste of staff time and resources and consulting expenses to even apply for it when it's just a tiny section of the district that would be eligible for it.
And same with the population numbers.
Oh, yeah, we don't fall anywhere near the low population. It's funny because I think of us as rural, like most people do, but depending on what grant, what regulatory body, we're not rural. Like, we're considered an urban water system.
So we're over a certain number of hookups.
Yeah, it's just interesting how all of that works. But no, we're not, like, we would still have to drop off a green can to somebody at over 4,500 feet for them to put their yard waste in. And Wrightwood is not exempt from the organics collection. They're working through all of that too. They're just not on the state's radar yet. Well, actually, I think they are now for compliance.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not going to be exempt from yard waste. They're in a tough spot though because they don't really have a lot of foliage.
No, yeah.
So
Pine needles.
yeah, so I mean, Brandon, you would know better than me, like what would go in the organics bin. I mean,
Pine needles, and that's it.
It's
And
good-
the way
the
they can get
pine
away with
needles.
it too is they do a pine needle cleanup once a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where we pull 18 roll-offs of pine needles out of there
Wow.
once a year. So that's really the only green that you see coming out of there.
right.
Other than maybe a couple of branches here and there, that's it.
Yeah, and even that, like, people use it up there,
Yeah.
so.
The pine cones tend to get recycled, brought in and sold, things like that.
Burned, whatever, yeah. But Yeah, you don't see a lot of greenways coming up.
So yeah, there was no like blanket exemption to SB 1383 except for the low pop. And that is like, you're talking like those areas, those communities like on the way out to Vegas where you drive forever and you see nothing.
One house and then
So,
another
like,
10 miles,
That
another house.
census tract that the county, you know, has jurisdiction over, the county did get low population exemptions for those because there's nobody out there.
It wouldn't make sense to go to delivery up there,
Yeah,
pick up.
but we have people out here, so. And like we did, we took our driver, our Calver Cycle rep to the nether regions of the district up on the scariest of the collection routes and, you know,
This is what it's
they're
like.
unfazed by all of that. They're like, oh, cool, you can pick it up.
It can be done, see?
Like, you're not terrified right now?
Yeah, exactly. That truck is gonna roll back and hit you.
He's like, no, been there, done that.
Yeah.
People love to take us on scary route tours. So thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, other than the previous items, is there anything else to add to staff report?
No, nothing at this time. Like I said, just wrapping up the year and preparing for next year.
Well, thank you for doing such a wonderful job with all this. A lot to negotiate and get through.
It's been a year. So the big thing we have on our docket starting in January is working with a consultant on the cost of service study. And then Brandon and I getting in a boxing ring and fighting over some preliminary rates.
It'll be fun.
Can we do a pay-per-view on that?
Yeah, that's what we'll raise money.
Hey, maybe we get lower rates by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. That'll go towards the rates.
Subsidized solid waste rates. No, I mean, it's not like that. We have a good working relationship with CR&R now. So I'm hopeful that we're going to come up with something that's reasonable
Yeah.
for collection rates,
The
especially
communication
for
streams are wide
the
open.
mandatory service level, the minimum mandatory. If you choose to have more trash, right, and you don't want to self haul your extra trash, then, you know, that needs to be paid for.
I like the system you've shown how much a cart costs that extra for them, and people realize it isn't that much extra.
Right.
Yeah, $7.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't overflow your trash cans, just get an extra cart.
Yes.
Okay, review of action items. Do we have any prior?
Yeah, just the, getting the bin customer mailer in, and we've done that, and I gave you a copy of it.
And I don't think we added anything to it today.
Nope, so just keep an eye on your mail for that postcard coming out if you haven't filled out your app. But I assume both of you have filled out your application, so you're probably not gonna get the
I believe I
postcard.
did. If I didn't, let me know.
I can look it up.
Thanks. Set the agenda for the next meeting. It'll be January 17th at 2:30. Any other change we need for that?
No, at our next board meeting, of course, we discuss the committee makeup and the meeting dates and times. So, you know, this is a tentative date. It could change, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, and with that, we'll make for sure we put out the
Yep.
update. So, thank you all. Agenda will be the same, pretty much.
Yep.
Okay. And we are adjourned at 2:53 or 2:55, depending on which one you want to look
I
at.
think it's 2:54. We'll split the difference.
There we go.
Thank you.